How's it, guys? Welcome back to today's live. Happy to be here. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. And you can see that the prices of crypto have definitely been in the upward direction. So we're definitely in some type of relief rally, and that is why I'm here today to speak about could we increase more or could we you know go down. Let me just move this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So let's take a look at pretty much everything that's happening. There isn't much news, but we do have a bit of news today at 3:30 South African time. And what I'll be looking at here, we have core PPI month on month, core retail sales, PPI, and rental sales. Okay. So today at 3:30 p.m., we're definitely going to see some volatility in the market. And what I would suggest is not trading during these times, and then just looking at what effect that this will have. So obviously it is red news. So whenever it's a red folder, it means that there's going to be a lot of volatility within the charts. So we need to take a note of that. And also I just want to go over, we are currently back to neutral, which we haven't seen since August last year, and obviously since April. We haven't been this high since that long. So it's very nice to see that we kind of getting that steam back. We'll have to look at the charts to see if that could last. But when looking at inflation, you can see that over here that there is a slowdown due to energy costs, and gasoline becomes less expensive. And you can see that for 2 months in a row now that we've gone down in inflation rate. So very interesting stuff to look at. And I'll be going over the charts shortly to show you guys what is currently happening in the charts. So let's take a look at Bitcoin for starters, and then we can look at all the other altcoins, and let's get straight into it. So looking at Bitcoin here, so looking at this level here on the daily time frame. So we analyze on the daily time frame, and then we look at lower time frames for positions, right? So looking at this over here, what has been happening? We've been rejecting off this trend line over here and over here, right? And then what actually happened is we got that massive increase over here. And what we're doing now, we might be consolidating a bit. So in order for us to carry on the upward movement, what needs to happen is this level over here needs to get broken, right? Because this is our recent high, and you can see that we're struggling to break this high. So that's why I said over here that we need to break this level with a candle closure above here in order for us to go as high as levels. I'll show you here. Levels such as this zone over here, around about 25,000. Okay, so if we break this level at 21,500, then we can definitely see price rallying back up to levels such as this zone over here at 25,000. But what it's looking like now is we are losing a bit of steam. When I go into the shorter time frames, and I'll show you that now, you can see that. Let's just go in the 1 hour, and what you can see here is that we are forming some type of channel. Okay, so when looking at this, you can see that we have this channel over here that has been respecting, and these lines. So what might happen is, if looks like we are coming down a bit, what might happen if we break this zone, then we can see prices coming back down to 21,500, right? Because that's our most recent support. So when looking at this, we need to keep an eye on what's going to happen here. And we might, because we've been trading in this for the last couple of days in this upward pattern, we might get down, reject off the zone, and come back up and then look for higher highs. Or what might happen is we just reject off the zone and carry on lower. So there's two scenarios here. So we need to make sure that we're watching this channel very closely. And yeah, I mean, looking at this now, we have been trading in this semi uptrend on the 1 hour, but it is losing some steam. When looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we are currently going to close bearish here in 55 minutes. So what I'll be looking at is potential shorts if we close below this zone here. So that is currently my situation and my scenario that I'm looking at. We'll just have to wait and see what actually happens. But yeah, at the moment, I won't be trading in this range because when looking at this chart, we need to see some type of breakup structure over here. You can see this is our most recent high and our resistance at this zone, and then we came and started forming support here. So in order for this to break, then we can look at potential shorts, right? Coming back down to 20,500. So yeah, that's what I'm currently looking at. I do see, I still feel very bullish. I mean, if we're above 20,000, then we can stay quite bullish on the market, but we'll just have to wait and see. I do think that the market is very overextended due to obviously the fear and greed index being so high, but we'll have to keep an eye on this. So yeah, Bitcoin not looking too bad at the moment. We just need to keep an eye on this pattern over here. So that's what I'm currently looking at. And let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is very similar. Looking at the daily chart here. So when looking at this, where is our next target? So our next target would be this area, this daily resistance at 16,050. Okay, so that's our next daily resistance. So what I'll be looking at now is, we need to hold some type of level here. So if we hold the support here and get a rebound off here, then we can look at potential moves to the upside here. How's it, guys? Thanks for joining in. Nice to see that everyone's chatting in the box. If you have any questions about the charts or any charts that you want me to go through, just put it in the chat box, and then we can definitely go through that after I'm done these couple of charts. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. So looking at Ethereum, on the daily chart here, we are currently bullish, right? I mean, looking at this, you can see that we had this massive increase within the last about 18 days, a bit less than that, around about 32%. So this could be some type of short squeeze. We're not sure. So basically, yeah, if we break this 1650, we'll definitely be looking for bars back up to zones such as, we have a resistance at around about this level here. I'll show you, let me grab this tool. So this zone over here is our next resistance zone, okay? And how do I know that? Well, when looking left here, we can see that price struggle. So it comes down and it struggles to break through this zone over here. You can see that the price gets stuck at this area, right? So, that's currently what I'm looking at. So we need to break above this area at 1650. So that is our next resistance zone, right? But if we don't break that zone, we might just get rejected like we have in the past. So you see over here, we got rejected off this zone. Over here, we got rejected here, and then we broke through, and then we got rejected over here. So we have to make sure that we break through the zone fully. So that's why whenever I say I want to wait for candle closures, right? Because whenever you get a candle closure, you're basically taking out the liquidity from the previous candle. So when there's wicks like this, so you can see over here, we have this candle wick like this. And if we get a closure above this wick, then you're basically taking out that liquidity, right? So that's why you would then turn your bias to look for longs. But if we get a rejection with like we got here and we close bearish, then the probability of us coming down is more likely. So you need to keep an eye on that 1650 level, definitely. And yeah, that's what I'm currently looking at for Ethereum. But let's take a look at the smaller time frames here for ETH. So let's look at this. At the moment, what is happening here? So when looking at the 1 hour chart, because we are basically short-term trading, so we're scalping, right? So we day trading. So you can see we have this resistance line, the support line at the bottom here, okay? You can see how many times that price comes into the zone, gets rejected, comes into the zone, rejects, and rejects every time off this level here. So if price closes below the zone, what is going to happen? Well, we might get some type of movement back down to areas such as 16,000, 15,020, which is our most recent support level. Okay, so that is currently what I'm looking at for Ethereum. So this pattern over here, this support zone, we need to hold this level, right, in order for us to carry on going up. But if we break below here, then we can definitely see price coming down to around about 1520. So this needs to be observed. And you can see how strong this line is, right? Because the amount of times that we've touched it. So the more touches you get on a trend line, the more strong it is, right? So that is currently how we need to view what is happening. And you can see at the moment we are currently finding some type of support here. So let's just see what happens. But yeah, if we break below here, what might happen is price comes down, retests this line, and then carries on further. So yeah, that's the scenario that I'll be looking for. Alternatively, what can happen is price can actually break the highs at the top here. So let's just see over here. So this is our most recent high, okay? So when looking at this, you can see that price has failed to close above this zone. So it failed over here, it failed here, and it failed over here, right? So if price comes up, closes above here, then we can look for that bar. And that's what I was talking about, back up to 1650. So we have to make sure that we're keeping an eye on these levels because of the fact that, you know, we're at a crucial support here. So what needs to happen is price needs to close above the support in order for us to look for shorts. But alternatively, we can be looking for longs. But you can see that we are in this type of pattern like this. So we are forming these higher highs and higher lows, right? So we are still in a little bit of an uptrend, but we need to, in order for us to carry on an uptrend, we need to break this zone here at 1600. So if we break 1600, then longs will be valid back up to 1650, which is our next, our next resistance zone. So yeah, that's currently my position, where I am at on Ethereum. But remember, guys, we have news today. Okay, I spoke about this earlier, but I can see that people are joining in. So remember, at 3:30 we do have news, big news. So whenever it's a red folder, so the red folder basically tells us that it is high impact news. So high impact news affects crypto. So whenever it says US dollar, it has an effect on the crypto price, right? Because it's inversely proportional. So be aware of this. 3:30 we shouldn't be trading, otherwise it just puts a risk on what's going to happen with our positions. But yeah, what we might see today is a high volume where price might come down, wick into this zone and come back up, or we might just close below here and then come back down to around 1520. So there's a lot of scenarios that might be happening. But because we're on this such an important trend line, we do need to be aware that if we break here, then we can come lower. But if we don't break here, then price can definitely come up. So yeah, that's currently what I'm looking at. So yeah, I've been over Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm gonna go over the S&P 500 because I've looked at something very important here. So obviously we know that the S&P 500 correlates to Bitcoin, right? So where we are currently now on the S&P 500 is at a very important level, okay? We're at major resistance, right? So we're at this level over here. So this zone over here has been tested more than 4 times. And currently we're testing it on the daily time frame. So if the S&P 500 can break the zone, then crypto can definitely carry on to the upside. So we need to be aware of this because this trend line is very important. It hasn't been here since the 30th of November last year, and you can see that the stock market is around about 7% up from just January. So we do need to make sure that we're watching this trend line on the S&P 500. And that's currently my stance. So just be aware of this trend line and where we might be going. So if the S&P 500 breaks this zone to the upside, then crypto can definitely move a lot. So just be aware of that. Then yeah, let's look at a few other coins. So I wanted to take a look at, we have Chainlink over here. So in the last live stream, I was speaking about this level over here. So looking at Chainlink, I was talking about potential longs at this zone, and it hit the target perfectly. Obviously went beyond that because of what was happening within the last couple of days. But you can see that price retraced back down to this zone and is finding this level as resistance. Okay, so this target zone that I was speaking about in the last live has been hit, and now it's finding resistance at this level. So in order for us to look for more longs here, we need to break this high over here. So if we break this high, then we can look for potential longs. So we need to be aware of this high over here, which is around about, let me just put a label on here. So put a price label around about 7. So if we break 7 on the dots, we can definitely look at, you know, potential longs to the upside for Chainlink. So that's what I'm currently looking at for Link. And my next level of target would be around about 7 point, this zone over here, 7.704. Okay, and if that has to happen, then what we can see is, you know, a big move up in the price, because from here to here is around about 10%, and Chainlink's been doing very well since it bottomed out at around about 5.41. So we need to be aware of this zone. So what I would do here, I would put some type of resistance level here at this level, and I'll be looking at potential long positions back up to this zone over here. But it's an idea, right? So with this idea is we need to break above this level, okay? And if we don't break above here, then what price may do, it might just consolidate a bit within this zone over here. But if price breaks through this level, then we can look for longs back up to 7.77. So that's what I'm currently looking at for Chainlink. There's not much else to this, but yeah, Chainlink has been very good. It's a very good coin for the long-term holders, and I do think that you know, obviously today with news, we don't really know what's going to happen here, but we'll find more direction within you know, today. So need to be aware of the news today, and if the news comes out positive for the dollar, then we can see more downside for crypto. But overall, we are doing well. I mean, looking at the fear and greed index, hasn't been this high since April. So very, very good stuff for crypto. We are having a bit of a relief rally, and we'll know after today if we're in some type of short squeeze. But we have been finding support at levels that are realistic, right? So yeah, let's look at XRP for some analysis here. So let's look on the daily chart, see what's happening. So XRP, I was speaking about levels, this zone over here. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we have some type of resistance over here. Okay, so when price comes up to the zone, we normally reject. Okay, and then when we broke above here, we actually came up to levels such as this area over here. Okay, so that's what we're currently looking at. And so what needs to happen is XRP needs to break this red line over here at 3.952, and if XRP breaks the zone, then we can look for more longs for XRP. And that's currently how I'm looking at this, because when I say candle closures, so what I mean by that is we need a candle. So this candle over here didn't close above this zone, it closed in equilibrium to this zone over here and this zone and this area here. So if a candle closes above here, it basically takes out all the liquidity, and that's what I'm currently looking at. Yeah, sure. When is a bar for ETH and Bitcoin? Yeah, I'll go over that again. I went over Bitcoin and ETH earlier, but I'll show you some zones that I've been looking at, and I'll do that for you in a second. So yeah, basically over here we need to break above this level, and if we break above this zone, then I can be looking for longs back up to, I mean, it is a 5% increase here, okay? So the only problem with this, your stop loss would have to be below the previous wick, which is around about 2%, okay? So it's a risk reward of 1:2. But in order for this trade to happen, we do need to break above here. And we'll give some direction after the news today. So that's XRP in a nutshell. But if we break, I just want to go over this quickly. If we break this zone over here at 0.4151, then, you know, we can definitely come back and test these highs. Okay. Can definitely come back to the 0.5 level and test those highs. Because you can see we have some type of imbalance over here, okay? So basically what that means is price kind of just sits over here, and you know, there's no buyers and sellers. The sellers and buyers are around about this zone and over here. So at around about 4.1 and 4.45. So if price breaks this area, then there will be a lot of volatility to the upside, and we might just clear out all of this candle over here. Okay, so just be aware of that for XRP. Let's take a look at ETH and Bitcoin again. Where's my chart here? Here we go. Yeah, so these are my current levels for ETH and Bitcoin. Okay, so when looking at the 4-hour chart, let's just, or the 1 hour, let's go on the 1 hour because we are scalping here, right? So looking at the 1 hour chart, we have levels over here. Okay, so these are the current levels that I'm looking at, and when looking at these levels, you can see that I would want bars above this zone over here. So bars would be valid above 21,397. So let me just type here, bars above here. Okay, so bars would be valid above this zone. And you know what I mean by that is we need a candle to close above these wicks here. You can see how many times prices hit the zone and we haven't closed above. So if price comes up, closes above here, retest, then we can look for bars back up to 21,600, which is our most recent high. And yeah, that's currently the scenario that I'm looking at for Bitcoin. But alternatively, you know, we can have some sells below here. Definitely can have some sells below here. So I'll be looking at sells below 21,038. And yeah, that's currently how I am seeing the market at the moment. Let me just make this bigger. So yeah, sells will be valid below 21,038 and bars would be valid above 21,397. Anything in between here is quite choppy. So what I mean by that is prices finding resistance and supports at different levels here. So it's very choppy. So I would want some type of clean break below here or clean break above here in order for us to look for longs. Yeah, so that's currently for Bitcoin. So we want bars above 21,397 and sells below 21,038. And these levels over here are the target levels, okay? So what it would look like, it would look something like this. Just so you can see the visual representation of this. Okay, so we'd have longs above there, or alternatively sells below here. But obviously with news, we don't really want to be trading with news. So at Hopper3, I'm not going to be coming back after news, but what you need to do is just monitor the dollar index, okay? So when looking at the dollar index, you need to monitor. So if the news comes out, so just, you know, because I won't be here with news, so you must just monitor, you know, just think about what's going to happen. So you come here onto Forex Factory and you look and you can see that the usual effect. So we have an actual, so what is going to come out, we have the forecast and the previous, okay? So if the actual is greater than the forecast for core PPR, then it's good for the currency, which means it's bad for crypto, right? And then you look at core retail sales. If the actual is greater than forecast, then it's good for the currency. If it's greater and if it's greater. So if all of these are greater than these values over here, then it will be bullish for the dollar, and then you might see some type of dip with crypto. So just make sure you're aware of the news that comes out within within the next couple of hours, right? So we have 2 hours until news. But yeah, that's what I'm currently looking at. And actually looking on the dollar index here, we can see that we did close bearish. We did close bearish with this candle on the 4 hour, and we are currently going to close bearish over here. So the dollar index is weakening. Okay, so obviously I spoke about this earlier, the inflation rates coming out earlier, lower than expected, and for the last 2 months it's been lower. So, and it's mostly due to the energy cost declining and gasoline prices become less expensive. So just be aware that we are finding some type of relief, and with the levels that are spoken about within the market, then I'll be looking for that. So just going back to these levels, just so you guys can see them, this is what I'm currently looking at. And if you want to quickly just take a screenshot of these levels, then you can do so. But sells below 21,038 and buys above 21,392. But remember, you have to get candle closures, because what can happen is price might come down, break this, and then doesn't close above, below. So you need to wait for a candle to close below here in order for you to go for shorts, because you can see over here that price came up, didn't close above this area and got rejected. So that you must wait for a candle, so a 1 hour candle, to close below this area over here. And if it doesn't close below, we're most likely just going to reject and move back up. So it has to close below in order for this trade to be valid, and then above here in order for this trade to be valid. So yeah, make sure you look at these. I will go over Ethereum quickly. Well, not quickly, but I'll just go over Ethereum. So this is currently, I also had these drawn out before the charts today. So on the 4 hour chart, so obviously higher time frame trumps lower time frame. So we have this level over here on the 4 hour chart time frame, okay, at 1591, and we have this level at 1556, which is our resistance / support. And what I said here, we are looking for bars above 1591 and sells below 1556, right? Because like Bitcoin, and I'll show you why my target is 1608 now, and then obviously your stop loss. So whenever I draw my stop loss, you put it below the previous candle wick. So obviously, let's just say you took this trade over here, there, and your take profit was around about here. Your stop loss would be below this wick over here, right? And that's how I draw my stop loss. So you would have your take profit at 1608, and your stop loss would be somewhere below your previous candle wick. Obviously, this hasn't formed yet, but what I'll be looking at is definitely this. And then your price, your short position would be sells below here, and your take profit would be obviously your 1522, because this is your most recent support level, right? So if we break this zone, the probability of us coming down and retesting this area is more likely. But obviously you can just see what's happening. Oh, here we go. I don't know what happened there. There was some technical failures, but it seems as though it is fixed now. Yeah, so when looking at this now, so I'm waiting for this candles to close above this area at 1591 and below 1556. So just be aware of these areas. And yeah, so this is what my current scenarios would be. And if you want to take, obviously take advantage of this, and you can do so. So yeah, I've gone through pretty much all the charts that I've wanted to. I'll sit here for another 10 minutes, and if you guys want any charts that you want me to go through, or you have any questions, just you can say in the chat box below, and just ask away. Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot more people joining now. So these are my current scenarios. If you haven't been here from earlier, um, so I'm looking at bars above 21,395 and sells below 21,038. And then for Ethereum, similar, definitely similar. I'm looking for bars above 1391 and sells below 1556. So I mean, the thing is with scalping, so I trade, yes, yeah. So we can scalp Ethereum at the entry 1591, yeah. So that is what I would be doing. So I'd be waiting for a candle to close above the zone and then look for potential longs back up to 1608. And then obviously the alternative scenario would be sells below this over here. If we get a candle to close below 1556, then I'll be looking at sells back here. But I mean, it is what I would wait for is this news, because at the moment we are currently just we kind of just ranging over here. So we need to see some type of break of structure. And yeah. So actually, let me do this so you guys can see this while questions are asked. Do this. Yeah, so I'll do that just so you guys can see the levels. Yeah, so that's my current scenario on the prices. And yeah, if there's any charts that you want me to go over, yeah, I can definitely do that for you guys. But I mean, we did have a massive rally, and that was obviously because of the inflation slowing down. China is opening up borders again from the whole COVID restrictions. There's just a lot been happening, and it's been in crypto's favor. And obviously, the stock market has been moving up with the dollar index coming to the downside. So there was a lot of factors that influenced the way that Bitcoin moved and the crypto market moved. So yeah. Yeah, if there's any other things that you want me to go over, can do so. So yeah, these are the levels to look at. Yeah, I mean this strategy, it's quite simple. So what it is, you basically drawing your support and resistance at certain levels. So obviously at the candle closures, and with that said, you're waiting for candles to close above or below certain zones to basically take out the liquidity that has been trapped at those areas. And once that gets taken out, then you're good for a long or you're good for a sell. So that is currently how I've been viewing the market. So yeah, that's what I look for. Yeah, so these are four potential trades, but obviously two would only work because of the direction. But yeah. Can look at other coins. What other coins would you guys want to look at? look at Doge. Yeah, sure, can definitely do that. Dogecoin has been doing very, very well. Let me just take this away. Okay. Yeah, so Dogecoin, what I was looking at, obviously this was a very nice trade that I placed. This is why if you guys must look at the lives, because I do look at potential positions. So this trade actually worked out perfectly. And basically what I was looking at, it was this area that I've highlighted at the top here. So we're looking at this, we broke above here. Okay, we broke above, and then we came back down, retested this zone, and then pushed to the upside. And my take profit was at these areas over here, because at this zone is resistance, and obviously, well, Dogecoin just flew up, but it is a volatile coin. So yeah, I mean, looking at Dogecoin now, we can see some type of movement happening here. So I'll show you guys that I'm looking at. Okay, this type of movements. Okay, so we had this break of this key level over here. Okay, so we've been trading in this trend line, and then this key level here, this zone over here needs to break in order for us to look for potential longs, right? Because this zone has been acting as significant resistance over here and some type of support and resistance over here. So if Dogecoin breaks above this level at around about like 0.90, then I'll be looking for more longs back up to, you know, zones such as this area over here, which is our most recent resistance. So yeah, that's currently what I'm looking at the moment. So yeah, Dogecoin could be a very nice play. So just make sure you guys are aware of this. It's around about 23%, so it's quite big. But yeah, but we need a candle to close above this area in order for you to look for potential longs, and that's with all my positions, right? You need your candle closures above or below certain areas. But yeah, that's currently what I'm looking at. So yeah, Dogecoin could be a very nice play. It will move around about 23% if it breaks above this zone. So be aware of that. Maybe put an alert on your phone. Yeah, if there's nothing else, or I'll give another 2 minutes or so for you guys to ask questions. If you don't have anything, then yeah, thanks so much for being here. Make sure you guys like the video and also subscribe to the channel, because we do this twice a week and we do have some educational videos in order for you guys to learn to trade. And yeah. So I'll go over the last time, just if you guys are new here, what I'm looking at. So Dogecoin, looking at this chart over here, and then waiting for candle to close above the zone in order for me to look for longs. And then for Ethereum and Bitcoin, let me just get to that. So Bitcoin, I'm looking for bars above this zone, bars above 21,395, and sells below 21,3038. And then for Ethereum, I'm looking for bars above 1591 and sells below 1556. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've got to do today. Thanks so much for being here, and yeah, see you guys on Friday, where I'll be doing another one like this, very similar to today's session, but obviously different levels, and we would have some type of confirmation of, you know, the news, because it will be Friday. So this news is today, so just be aware of that. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday. Cheers, guys.